how do we position ourselves at that high level of service, and how do we differentiate ourselves amongst the crowd? You could just see how my energy was different, and I didn't even realize that was happening.
I'm here with Jennifer Wheeler, who is a functional medicine nurse practitioner. We're all going to find out what that is in a second. And the owner of Mindshift Health. Talking today about marketing and finding the best ways to get a return on your investment through video. First of all, we got to talk about what it is that you do. What is functional medicine as a nurse practitioner? Talk about that.
So I had my own health struggles, my own gut issues at the time. I was going to the GI specialist and not figuring out why I felt the way I did. And so at the same time, I was feeling in primary care that this wasn't a great solution. I was also feeling with my own health. So that led me to find functional medicine, which essentially looks at the root causes of why people don't feel their absolute best. We work specifically at Mindshift Health, my practice, on gut health, low energy, insomnia, low libido, basically for individuals, for professionals that are going, have burnt out their bodies, their adrenal glands, and they're just not feeling their best. They're stressed, they are overworked, and they have forgotten that health can be foundational for performance and for showing up as who they're meant to be.
So when you first started getting clients, was it word of mouth? Was there, social media? How are you sort of leveraging the tools that are available to you as a business owner?
So first starting out, I did have mentors where I learned about social media and how to get our name out there. I did have an assistant work with me as well to help get our name on more channels. But yeah, I would say a lot of our first influx of clientele really came from word of mouth and more local within the community. And then since then, we've grown and expanded. And really, we're nationwide because we are a virtual practice, so you can see us from anywhere. And then my goal is to really be worldwide, to be able to see individuals from anywhere that need help in their wellness journey.
Obviously, we set you up with the Sony camera and the ring light and the setup that you have to be able to do podcasts and all kinds of things. What was the reason initially you felt you saw this and were like, this is the right move for me to both create content and connect with people? And what have you seen sort of in your day-to-day usage?
Yeah, so for us, we are a high-level functional wellness concierge. So it is about providing a service that is unmatched, right? When I work with a client, it's very in-depth. We drop ship labs to their home. We see them frequently. We get to know them very well. It is a very high level of service. So Zoom is one of the most common ways to connect right now for meetings. Many people are working virtual. And so how do we position ourselves as, that high level of service, and how do we differentiate ourselves amongst the crowd? It not only positions us in a way where we look like experts, we look a little bit more presentable in what we have when we're connecting with our clientele, but also it helped me to reach a new level of confidence also in that meeting, in that visit, or in that session or that recording, because of how professional the video looks.
What's the return on investment, right? For putting this up, sure, I look better on Zoom, I look more presentable, but what is that going to really translate into dollars and cents at the end of the day? And for me, I was giving a presentation on this to financial advisors, and I was asked actually specifically to come to the meeting with the sort of metrics or data, and I couldn't, right? You can't Google this. There's no number on how much money you get or how many more deals you close because of your Zoom camera, But what I realized in sort of my comical pivot was, okay, well, what's the return on investment of not having a stain on your shirt, right? Like, what's the return on investment showing up to a meeting and not having a big ketchup blotch right here? It's not quantifiable. Nobody has that on their budget line items, but like, we know you're less likely to be taken seriously if you look like that. And having the experience, Jennifer, and being in those meetings, feeling that confidence, and also, hearing those compliments, right? Have you felt that translate into that, confidence in you from either clients or prospective clients? And what have you been sort of seeing and feeling on the business end as you are utilizing this in more of your meetings and presentations?
It's so interesting, like you say, like some things aren't quantifiable, and that's kind of one of them. You could just see how my energy was different, and I didn't even realize that was happening. We were able to take a lot of the clips from these videos that we saved, and then we used them on our social media platforms, these little snippets. So we posted those. And that's where we started getting a lot of the feedback as well from, individuals saying that it looked so professional. Somebody thought it was like a filter on Zoom, and I'm like, oh no, this is legit. This is a real setup, and I thought that was funny. Yeah, and then I would say too, I just spoke at Fontainebleau in Miami for a huge event, and that was live. But I have to say that there's an inkling of me that because I had that master class, those sessions about 2 weeks before I left to do the speaking engagement, and because I was able to just kind of step into that space with more energy and more confidence, I think it translated into the same when I stepped onto the stage. So, and my husband said that to me. He's like, you just did phenomenal, and you were so confident and just so in alignment with what you were talking about. So, honestly, I know this is going to sound cheesy, and I was like a little skeptical at first, but I am like the biggest fan of this entire setup, just because of how it's helped to transform my energy and how I show up. And in addition to that, I am very much for the simple decor and having everything look, streamlined and pretty on my desk, and having everything that I have serves a purpose. I don't like clutter. And I've actually taken a picture of my setup and posted it for that very reason, just to show, this up leveling, and we're committed to, providing, an up leveled service. And this is what I invested in to do so. But it all looks very pretty in my aesthetic environment too. The ring light that we chose, and the camera and the microphone, everything just kind of flows very nicely. So there's that too.
It's not just about putting a camera and a ring light in front of you. It's about set design. It's about thinking about your brand throughout that entire, ecosystem, right? Of what is going to be on screen. I think one of the things you said that I wanted to tune in on is sort of the repurposing of content, right? You talked about the master class, creating the pieces over 6 days, and then pulling snippets from it and repurposing those. And obviously if garbage in, garbage out, right? So if the content coming in is nice, when you create those snippets, right, what you put out is going to look great. And also the opposite. What are the other content pieces and on-demand content you might be considering making, and other pieces of content you're planning to create that are sort of part of that ongoing strategy and have made this investment for you, worthwhile?
I go live in my Facebook group once a week to teach. We repurpose the videos for Instagram. We also, when we go live inside Facebook, I stream from the Zoom with all of the equipment. So then I just connect right to the Facebook group, and then it translates right into there, and it looks beautiful in there as well. One of our goals and on our list of to-dos is to then start taking some of our content and putting little shorts onto YouTube, which I know is up and coming, or it's already there, and we have to get caught up. And then another area too is LinkedIn. So I plan to do some LinkedIn Live as well. And because that, I think, is primarily where a lot of our potential clientele are hanging out, where people that are, professionals in their businesses and want health services that are much more unique and much more focused on their personal needs. I think that is a huge space for that. So we want to make sure that we're doing a lot of teaching there as well. And then our big project that we've been working on is our course. So I'm taking all of the foundational teachings of what I teach with our one-to-one clientele. So the basics, where people could take the classes themselves and then walk through kind of like a DIY at their own pace. And so all of the recordings for the course modules are being done with this equipment as well. It's not just something that's thrown together. It's very, very important for me for this to be very quality, and for the professionalism of our approach to shine through. So when we do the course, I'm extremely excited that we actually have this equipment to make it look professional and to tie that all in together. Where I can kind of set ourselves apart from the other functional medicine practices and be able to really personalize that experience for the person taking the course. So that's important. And then, actually at this event that I was at, we talked a lot about business growth and leadership and how you're showing up as the owner of your company, and the concept of making sure that all of the things that you're choosing to do and choosing to spend your time and energy on are in alignment with who you are, and what you value. And so, again, it's very important for me that anytime I put my face out there and I'm showing up to the world, that it's showing the best sides of me, and it's showing, the clarity that you can get with working through our practice. And then also, I have this dream of launching a nonprofit, and our nonprofit, the goal of this would be to offer functional medicine services for veterans. I have this vision of taking our videos and then, kind of going next level with them and really speaking to that population. So I think there's a lot of really fun things that we could do with this. So
Somebody who was sort of on the fence, but considering moving into the content creation space and setting up like this.
I think no matter what level you're at, it can fit, and it could kind of just take you to that next level. Like, even if you're just getting started, I think this will help to kind of give you that confidence. And then if you're already so used to, getting up and speaking, it's just going to help to really improve your look and your professionalism. And kind of like I mentioned before with my energy, it was hard to pinpoint, but I could see the difference in that first video, and then in the subsequent videos, my energy just completely changed and I was showing up in a different way.
Everybody knows those people, right? But there are people that are going to tune in and love your personality, your brand, the things that
Yes.
you, which is why there's so many businesses, right? This is just a way that you can scale and find more of those people that would be attracted to the way that you approach things and your message and
Absolutely.
your vision. And so, so excited to hear the success you've had already in the short time you've been using this, Jennifer, and
That's
excited for our collaboration.
Thank you. Yeah, and that's kind of my approach as well. When I meet another functional medicine practitioner, there's no sense of competition or anything like that, and that's hard because if you meet somebody in your field, that's often what we feel. But just like you said, when somebody gets to know who you are and how you approach things, that's when the magic happens. So, I always recommend never to be fearful of other people in your field. And that actually made me think about, I've had a couple people mention how intimate it feels when they were watching these videos. So that speaks to that as well, because here we are, if we're just trying to show who we are genuinely, then this setup has allowed me to do that even better as well, because a lot of people did mention they felt like they were right here with me when I was speaking, because they could see my face. Everything else was kind of, just there, but this is where they were connected, and the words and how I was expressing was just that much more, that much deeper and more connected because of the setup. So I think it allows for even a deeper intimacy in that moment and in that training. So then it allows you to even further connect to, who that person is and what they're there to teach you. So
Awesome. Well, Jennifer, love it. Really excited for the next steps, especially because we're going to be working on those things together. And thank you so much. Jennifer Wheeler with Mindshift Health. I'm John Sherman with VC Productions. Thanks so much. Take care.
thanks, John.